back at it again with like episode 6 now. It's,
Already.
it's been pretty good. I think we've learned something very, very important today. Do not park under trees under no circumstances. We have bird poop all over the truck, and it is quite morbid. It's completely covered. There is not a square foot that you can touch on this truck that doesn't have bird poop on it.
Nice liver.
Got any plans for Thanksgiving?
So this weekend I plan on taking my mom out of town.
That's
She
cool.
always wanted to ride on the train, so we booked her a train ride.
That's legit.
Yeah, take her out to Raleigh, just have her out for the weekend. Niggas staying for like 2 days. After that, obviously, I got scammed, so they robbed me. I had planned to do other things.
That's wild.
Yeah, I planned to do a couple things prior to Thanksgiving, but now I'm just gonna go to my
I
family.
wish we knew. I've heard this scam going around that ATM scams.
Hmm.
They got ATMs now that have like
Like a reader or something.
a reader or something on it, and you run it your card, and then it just drains your entire account immediately. And
Insane.
that's pretty crazy. But Nikos got scammed somehow. They stole his money off of, was it?
My bank card.
Yeah, but the Grubhub?
Oh, Uber Eats.
Uber Eats?
Yeah.
Somebody ordered like $300 worth of food off of Uber Eats.
On my card. I don't even have Uber Eats on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't even have Uber on my phone.
Yeah. So I would love to see what in the world they bought for $300 off of Uber Eats. I know they if it's not like your first time and you have to pay the shipping fees and everything for that stuff, you might be able to get like a McDonald's meal for under $300.
I hope McDonald's if they went that low. Like, goodness gracious. They was at, I don't know, what was they at? They was at Red Lobster, everywhere.
Yeah,
They got me though.
they got the good stuff. They ordered the top of the line of the menu, whatever it was.
Said they got her $300 in 30 minutes.
It's like I know even when I get my Dairy Queen fill up on there, it's like $30 for one Blizzard. You'd still have to get a lot of Blizzards to get to $300.
Yeah, but
That's pretty impressive.
they're trying to make it. Somehow they taking this, make it.
Yeah, that's sad.
Just go make your own.
Well, what would be a? Do you think that thieving is contingent on the circumstance, or is it just always wrong? Is there a situation where it would be the moral obligation to steal?
There's situations where it might seem like it's right.
Definitely seem like it.
Yeah, so I can't say like if there's a moral situation where it's right, but I can say like because you can convince yourself that it's right, but I can't me personally I can't rationalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like technically it's still wrong, but
yeah.
in service of something that
The service is feeding your kids. I can see the
I feel like a lot of people do that one, and then they don't actually have to do that.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can see that premise.
If it was like as cut and dry as steal or my kid dies from starvation,
right.
the chances of it being that cut and dry are like slim to none, because there's so many places that you can get food if you really need it in your homeless. Food stamps too. Man, it's crazy that so if you hold down a job and they have record of you being able to keep a decent paying job for an extended period of time, they won't let you apply for food stamps. They won't let you get them.
They actually have a new food stamp policy where it's like you have to work a certain amount of hours.
Yeah, the recent one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in effect yet or not. There was so many people that made videos like, guys, I'm gonna lose all my food stamps. Like, you do realize all you have to do is like do the work part of it.
It's definitely minimal hours.
Yeah, I think it was only like 30 to 35 or something like that. That is not that many hours in a week. You could rack that. You could. I feel like I normally rack up 35 hours by Wednesday.
How about say, maybe Tuesday?
Maybe Tuesdays.
Shoot.
30 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
a choice,
imagine
and-
that. You just work 2 15-hour days,
Yeah.
and then food stamps for the rest of the week. You might live like better than others. There was a group, a family, I guess, in front of me and my wife at Food Line, and they had their buggy slap full, and you could tell that they were using food stamps whenever they were going to check out. And I hold a job all the time, but there is absolutely no way I would be able to pay for all the food in that buggy. Like, well, not at least maintaining a budget.
At one time, like this is not.
Yeah,
Like,
and
this is
maybe it was like everything that they're gonna get in a month, but I highly doubt it. And the parent of the group was as big as a house.
Mhm. Was
So
there a
they
lot
were-
of kids?
There was two,
Okay.
and they were older. But the parent was as big as a house, so they weren't, in any means in desperate need of food. Um,
Like
But
that
we
collective
were just looking at that cart. It's like, now maybe they can't afford that either. Maybe they don't have food stamps, but it typically takes longer when you're using food stamps when you check out. So it took like forever for them to be able to check out in that line. So I'm pretty sure that they were using food stamps. But it's kind of bizarre that to a certain extent you can be punished for working harder.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, but over time, staying
You
on
feel
food.
punishing because you're always
feels-
struggling.
Yeah,
Always.
I kind of regretted saying that as soon as I did, because working harder isn't gonna punish you long term, but in the short term, when you see somebody else making by with doing less, then it makes you feel like, why am I doing all this when I can just scoot by? But really, whenever it comes time to be promoted or have an opportunity or anything of that nature, the person that's actually been putting forth effort is going to be chosen over the person that doesn't put forth effort.
Or you at least have your name on that in the application list when the other person won't, like they're in
Yeah.
a normal job. Like,
Yeah, I had a boss. When I worked at a corporation before I had this job, there was it was a toxic environment in the field installation place, but it was all like, who makes this, who makes that, and it is important to be able to talk about that, and it is a right in America to be able to talk about your wage. So even if your boss says that you shouldn't or can't talk about your wage, that's to protect the company, not to protect the employees. So the employers can't do anything to you for talking about your wage to your fellow employees to make sure that you're getting compensated enough. But that became all it was about. So there was a guy that ended up starting, and he was making more than me, but he knew much less. You've done door seal, right? He didn't know how to do door seal, and he was making more. And I taught him how to do door seal when he was making more than me. So it was very annoying. But I talked to my boss, and lo and behold, there was a manager that was hired that was under the operations manager. But this manager was making more than the operations manager, but the operations manager was his boss. So it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. But like based off a degree, based off of potential competence for that particular thing, and the pain that they were ensuing because of it, it's like for whatever reason he got hired on at a higher rate.
Whatever your competence is the one.
And this particular person like didn't put forth 120% effort. So the main boss, the one that made less, put forth more effort. He was there earlier. He stayed later. He did extra. He was always there when he needed him. He was doing basically multiple people's jobs, and he was making less. And he told me that, and I was like, I cannot fathom how you are okay with that. And he said, when it's my time, me putting in this effort now will pay off in the future. And now he's the branch manager, and that other guy doesn't work there anymore. So yeah, he kept in it and kept pursuing the path that was laid out that he wanted to pursue. And when the time came, he got the promotion. Now he, I would imagine, makes more than what the other guy did at the time, probably significantly more, moving to the branch manager position. And then, you know, so he stuck it out. I did not stick it out. I was like, I ditched that. I did not like the corporate feel and becoming a number. This is something to think about. So, and this might trigger people, but there's a Pareto's principle where it's basically the square root of the people that are in an organization do 80% of the work, right? No, it's like much less than half. Like the square root of a number is whatever times a number would make the number. So, just like out of 79, it should be 7. I mean, out of 49, it should be like 7 people basically do 80% of the work. Anyway, that being said, whenever you work at like a big corporation like Amazon or something like that, it's like you think of their books over a year. It's like trillions and trillions of dollars on their books, or billions of dollars on their books over the year. And you think about, like, let's say you're a packer, and let's say you packed thousands of dollars worth of product. Ultimately, the impact that you've had on the balance sheet of the company is like not even noticeable. And that's what I noticed when I was the company I worked for was $1 billion company, right? And it's our supplier, but I'm not going to say the name of the supplier on here. But it was $1 billion company, and I always had this like value accusations, like I'm worth more. But then I really thought about it. I was like, this is $1 billion company. In these months, I've installed, like, I did the math, like this many doors and this much hardware, and that might be worth this much amount of money, just my installation. That amount of money is entirely negligible compared to the, $1 billion annual pool of the entirety of the company. Now, if you're the biggest salesman at the company and you sell $300 million worth of product, then you are in the Pareto distribution of the people that do the 20% of the work, because he moved the needle so much more than me. It's unfathomable.
So for you, you felt like they wouldn't see an impact enough for you to get like the promotion you were needing.
Well, you can keep your head down and move up. I mean, if that's what you want, like, there was definitely a path for me. Like, I could have went from an installer and then I could have just moved into doing something else, maybe become a project manager, then become a salesperson, then just do more than whatever the best salesman was doing for 10 years, and then become the best salesman. And then I would move the needle of that company. But that's just not what I wanted to do. It's like, I just didn't want to do that. I didn't find, like, yeah, I want to spend the next 15 years of my life grinding this out to become a salesman of these products. And it's just not what I wanted. And then also management side, but that's another fun thing. It's like, you can be a manager, like a branch manager of a company that's doing a lot of money or very financially successful, but it's very hard to find your value add. Like, maybe you improve operations a little bit and you save like some percentage of net margin, but it is very hard to like actualize your value. Whereas if you're a salesman and you sell $300 million worth of product,
It's right
You're
there.
a salesman that
Yeah.
sells $300 million worth of product. So it's very cut and dry and straightforward. Whereas now we work in a company with 5 people in the field, and everything that I do is like it affects our margin dramatically. Like if I do something and it makes our jobs more efficient, like we just made significantly more on margin for that job. Like if we go somewhere and we knock it out of the park, like the whole company feels it, and that's pretty cool. Like hopefully we go out of town next week and we knock that job out of the park and get it done and super fast, and it'll be a 60-door job done in less than a week, and hopefully we won't have to go back. That'd be killer. That'd be way better than what we're doing
with this one.
With this one, where we're only allowed to do 1 floor at a time. Even though I will say we did extremely good the last couple of days. Like really, really good the last couple of days. Basically knocked out that entire floor. Straightened up a lot of the other stuff. And we're doing frames and doors, so that makes it more complicated.
So we do frames and doors first day, and the next day work.
Mm-hmm. Really, we did it all in one day. Mainly, yeah, we did more of the hardware today than we did yesterday, but it was a good 3 days. Got a good amount done.
And they had the stuff we need. We didn't have to wait this time.
Mm-hmm.
It was ready.
But yeah, once I figured out that like my perception of value was just completely wrong, then I realized that some people just play different games, just play a better game. So the salesman, even though they've worked up to that position, at this point now they're just playing a better game than what I was playing, because they could impact margins better.
Yeah, better and good.
But at this point, I'm playing the same game, but on a different board, and I have more impact that way. I would rather. I might be weird in this, so you can let me know. But in like your perspective, but I would rather work for a company where I'm constantly fed opportunity to more, for one, and opportunity to impact the company's growth as an entirety, versus just being paid more and having neither of the other two.
I don't think there's nothing crazy about it, because I feel like since you can impact the job more, like even me, like being an individual on a job, our job is, our company has 5 people typically out of the field on time.
Mm-hmm.
The last job I was working, it felt like if I did more than everybody else, it wasn't noticed. Like, because for whatever reason, it just felt like I was just throwing rocks in the pond. Like that's how I felt. But here it's like everybody has to hold your weight. And if you hold your weight, like it really shows on them days. Like it really shows. Well, for me personally, you constantly gotta hold your weight, because like when we go as you go.
Yeah.
When it comes to like setting up the project, when everything arrives, the order we gonna do it, separating stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I took a pay cut from the big company that I work for to come here, and I don't know, the psychological benefit from being somewhere that you're actually needed was what I needed at this
Did you have this much freedom at the other job?
It was basically the same. I would argue that I could get away with more at the other job, like if I wanted to be a slacker. But I didn't want to be a slacker, but I was surrounded by a lot of people that did slack, and that was very annoying.
Yeah.
There's a thing where like A players want, I think it was Steve Jobs that talked about this a lot, signal versus noise, but also A players wanting to work together. And if you get a group of like 3 or 4 A players, they all like compound on each other. So if one person like goes the extra mile, everybody goes the extra mile, because they're all like that. They all want to be in a group of people that are very competent and are
Right.
A players.
That's right.
If you throw one B player in there, it just pisses everybody off. And a B player is a good employee, but when you have a group of A players, they just really like playing with A players. I wish I knew like there's probably like a psychological reason for that, like a group mentality type thing. But especially if you just feel like you have someone that's getting dragged behind. As a matter of fact, in ancient hunter-gatherer cultures, if there was a man that just served absolutely no purpose in hunting, and he came out to hunt with the rest of the tribe, after a certain point of all the people that actually were competent and could get meat and get a kill, they would get annoyed with this person. It's like, this guy's a waste of food. And there would be an accident set up. It's like, oh no, Johnny, tripped over a ledge and fell off a cliff whenever we went hunting today, or he got mauled by a lion. It's like whatever they came up with. But but that was survival of the fittest. They didn't have a surplus of food, so there was no incompetent people that were allowed to just keep on. Yeah, just be. There was none of that. It's kind of scary to think about the fact that we live in a place now where it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, or how much you provide to society. That just prolificates and will keep growing. Like the amount of people that don't give anything to society will grow. Whereas, like, this is the first time in history that there's a vast surplus of food. We don't have to, like in first world countries, of course, but there's a vast surplus of food almost everywhere. There's not many more places that are, lacking the basic vitalities of life.
And we have
like in America, more downtime. In America, you can basically get by with doing nothing forever.
Some people.
It depends on what you want.
You can't pay your rent and do nothing. Like some people, it's like you have to.
You say that, but government assisted housing and food stamps and stuff. There's people that do. But you professionally play the system.
I'm about to say they don't. Some people might not do nothing in the workforce, but they might try to.
Or the bare minimum, at least.
Exactly. I do the bare minimum.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I say nothing, I mean like grand scheme nothing. Like nothing compared to what you would have had to do to survive in, say, the 18th century.
Okay.
It's like people had it rough.
Because I was about to say,
it's like you had to farm your own land. If you didn't get up in the winter and plant your seed, then you won't have no harvest in the summer. So, and that's just the way that it was. I don't know. It's pretty crazy to think about the change in that. I always wondered like the long-term effects of that, but I don't really see anything like crazy happen in society. But I don't know if it's been long enough for us to have like, evolution is supposed to carry you forward and have progression based off of natural selection and sexual selection, right? Well, eventually we're going to have to plateau unless there's a reason why the most competent people survive and the least competent people don't survive.
Yeah, because at this point we have so many tools like to keep people afloat.
Yeah.
A lot of people never see like.
And maybe that's just what it is. Like we'll get to a point where basically humans no longer evolve to get better. It's like you plateau because there's the same amount of people that are competent as the amount of people that are incompetent, let's say. Hypothetically, in the future. Not right now. But then you just, get a chip implanted in your head that's connected to AI, and then or whatever, some kind of computer,
And
and
prior
then
to
you
that,
just able to process information like a computer would.
we have so many vaccinations and cures for things. Like that would take out a lot of the weak or the people that aren't physically capable. Like you know what I'm saying? Like what do you go? Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Like the fittest would survive in certain instances. Like with COVID. Like I ain't gonna lie, I told y'all I refused to get vaccinated because I was like, this is if I'm meant to be killed by this, I'm meant to be killed. Like if I'm not strong enough, because it was basically saying if you have bad lungs or your respiratory isn't capable of withstanding, then you would have a hard time. And I felt like I'm a based man. Like why wouldn't I have a decent respiratory system? I'm doing nothing to overly harm myself. So I feel like that was natural selection right there.
Yeah.
If that was natural.
Yeah, the coronavirus lab in China sounds pretty natural.
Right. If that was natural. That would have been a version of
Did you see that skit on man, it was one of the late night shows, maybe Stephen Colbert or something, but that was a comedian that got up and they were like, so you believe that the COVID came from a lab in China? And then he basically said, yeah, in China there's a explosion of chocolatey goodness. Chocolate is pouring through the streets of China, and there happens to be a lab called the Chocolate Factory down here. But he's delivered it like perfectly. He's like, of course the chocolate is coming from the chocolate factory. Of course the COVID virus is coming from the COVID virus lab. They literally named it that.
This is where it came from.
I remember the first thing that I heard, it was like some lady decided to eat a bat in a cave. And then she got the virus, and then it just started spreading.
First thing I heard was
how do you get a respiratory virus from eating something? Like you should be like getting a stomach bug type virus, like a parasite or something from eating a bat. That's wild. I don't know how that would correlate.
And then at first, but that's confusion. They were trying to figure out if it was airborne or if it had to do physical touch. Like that was so weird. I'm like, we have scientists. Not one has figured out what this virus does if it's in the air.
Yeah, not to mention like the entire CDC and everything was like saying one thing, and then everybody else was saying another thing, and then there was just an argument the entire time. Even like everything that they suggested we do turned out to be basically ineffective.
It was like the mask don't work; it just protects you, protects the person from you. It's like, why am I wearing it? I'm just protecting them; they're not protecting me.
I love the folks that say you need to get vaccinated to protect everyone else, and I'm like, so you're vaccinated? And they're like, yeah. And well, then you're protected. Why do you care about me? It's like, how am I going to get you sick if you're vaccinated? Supposedly. Yeah. And the crazy thing is they still got sick. They just, I think they were saying that the hospitalizations were slightly less, and then the deaths were less for those.
But then, like later, like a couple years later into the COVID thing, the vaccination started killing people. So it was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't think they've still done real studies about that.
Yeah.
We have a cousin that's, well, technically, he's a married-in cousin, but he's a college athlete and never had anything wrong with him, but he had to take the vaccination to go to school at his college, and then he has a seizure. Never had anything like that before. Yeah. Then he just randomly has a seizure. That's pretty trippy.
So what the shot did, I didn't take it, but my mother took it because at the time she was more fearful, and so she had a heart surgery to basically keep her heart in a steady rhythm. When she took the vaccination, it negated the reason she had the surgery. Her heart went into AFib, where it like shut it quivers, and then it'll have a regular rhythm, and it'll quiver again, and like no steady rhythm. And the vaccination did that. Like it threw it out of whack, and it wasn't that was just crazy shit. Yeah, not expected that. because she actually had a surgery to put a metal valve in her heart. So we thought that it was no longer an issue.
And another really funny thing, and culture just absolutely fascinates me. It is hilarious how stuff like this happens. But it became a political issue. So based off of the left to the right is basically what you thought about vaccines and whatnot.
Who was you getting your information from?
But the ironic part is the vaccine was rolled out during the Trump administration. And liberals really like the vaccine, and Republicans in general tend to not like the vaccine in droves.
Whenever you mentioned that you weren't vaccinated, I was so shocked because of the side of politics that you were.
Really?
Yes, I was completely shocked. Like, completely. But your reasoning was your reasoning.
Yeah, well, from what I can tell from the people that I'm surrounded by on the right, that the right seems to have more of a problem with the vaccine than I've seen on the left. Like, you got some. Now, I'm not saying this is an amalgamation of the left in its entirety, but you'll have people that, like, Trump will say something stupid like don't eat Tide Pods or don't eat dyes in foods or don't eat whatever, and then they just like eat food dye on lives and stuff. And just because he says not to, but he made the vaccine, so did you get vaccinated? Shouldn't you just be anti the vaccine because you hate Trump?
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, just to like keep it consistent. Like, if everything that he says is evil and you hate everything, then
why you let him trick with the vaccine?
Yeah, you done got fooled. Like, it's his vaccine. It was rolled out under his administration. Now Biden made it acted like it was his. Rolled out under Trump's administration. Near the end of Trump's administration. So.
Yeah, that was a good time.
So I don't know. That's really, really funny. You know what the best, absolute best, like, I didn't take the vaccine, but, and I don't, especially with everything coming out now and then all the crazy stuff that they have in vaccines that, in combinations with everything, taking so many of them in a childhood schedule, I'm not so sure that I'm on board with any of them anymore. But the best argument I've ever heard for taking the COVID vaccine was there was a guy and he said, I thought about not getting it, but I go home and I drink beer and I eat unhealthy and I don't exercise and I do all these things and eat all these things and drink all these things that are not bad for me. I don't have the right anymore to suggest that I shouldn't put something in my body because it's bad for me, because I eat terrible, drink alcoholic beverages, and I smoke. So if I was really worried about the risk of these things, then I wouldn't be doing any of those three. And I was like, that's a good argument. Like, it sounds hypocritical if you're like, well, this thing might be unhealthy for me, but then you're shoving down like McDonald's donuts and alcohol. But at the very least, you kind of know what you're getting with those things, whereas you don't really know the risk.
Yeah, that's like lazy thinking. But he was already on the end of, like, I can't. What worse could it do to me? That's
yeah. He's like, I'm already screwed. So if it takes me out, I mean, it's just as likely to take me out as everything else that I'm already doing. My only qualm with it would be, like he was just saying, or how I just said, you don't really know the negatives of it until they happen. They're not tested or anything. Whereas alcohol is like, there's a chance that your liver gets fried and you have heart problems, and if you know you're smoking, then you could have lung cancer and stuff.
Another fear of mine with the vaccine, where I don't know, like the time frame when you grew up, but like when I was a kid, they used to play these commercials late at night. If you got a vaccine
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
1999, you might be compensated. If
You
you grew an
use
extra leg,
Roundup
yeah, like it was the most.
every day.
Yes,
That was
but
like many of them.
that's the context I instantly view COVID as. Like, this is gonna be a mistake that you gotta like you can't come back from.
Yeah.
That was obviously how I felt. And then once they said you took the first COVID test, now you had to get the version 2 to keep it strong or something like that. It's like, what?
Yeah, because apparently the virus kept on
Evolving.
so you had to give it boosters so that way it would
That was
prevent
another
the new
thing.
variants.
When I started hearing the research, they said COVID was like an old thing. It just resurfaced, or not resurfaced, but got out of the lab. However, it's like something that came out back in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
It came back more potent though this time.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's a crazy time. But another one was like every time you had an advertisement for medication that would give you like,
Oh,
you might die, you might get depressed, you might do this, and like
it might
hundreds of
cause
things.
seizures. Why would I
Yeah.
take this? You just told me 50 things is
And
gonna
it's like,
harm.
I don't think anybody actually watches these and then goes to their doctor and requests it.
Mm.
I think the only reason that they have advertisements on like news channels and stuff is so that way the news won't speak badly about vaccines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting paid.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary game. And I feel like you gotta research anything before you put it in your body. There's too much weird stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you around. Hope you have a good turkey day.
You too, man. Enjoy Turkey Day. Enjoy the family.
Yep. All right, that will be the wrap up for this video. A bunch of talk about vaccines, Turkey Day, and
Nice little randomness.
randomness. This is Dylan James Groth.